Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special edition of the Money Mondays podcast, where we cover 3 core topics: how to make money, how to invest money, how to give it away to charity. Our guest today, I've known for many years. He's built a $1 zillion company. He's now building his next $1 zillion company. So we're gonna have fun diving into all things about money and investing, but also about building the brand and why, going into his next venture, why did he choose this category and why he's gonna scale it to such a big business. Now, as you guys know, as we're covering those 3 core topics, this podcast will be under 40 minutes because the average commute to work is 45 minutes. The average workout is 45 minutes. This episode will be between 32 and 38 minutes for your listening pleasure. I like to tell you that because we have a 92% listen through rate. That means that people actually listen to the whole podcast, unlike a lot of podcasts where people just kind of rant and rave for a long time. We keep this very streamlined, very focused. And also, this podcast is not just about you. It could be for people from your past, present, and future. There might be people that are going to be very beneficial if you share this podcast with them because of what happens today from Cameron Forni. So without further ado, Cameron, give him the quick 2-minute bio so we get straight to the money.
All right. Thank you, Dan, for having me. Appreciate it. My name is Cameron Forni. My last company that I built, I'm a serial entrepreneur. My last company was Select Oil, Select Cannabis. That was also Cura Partners. I sold that to Cura Leaf. So if you know those vaporizers with a little S circle on it, that was kind of my creation, and built that up. Started my living room, 98,000 my first 2 months, 900,000 next year, 9 million next year, 40 million, 117 million. Exit for 980 million US, 1.27 billion Canadian. To Curaleaf, which is a publicly traded cannabis company, still the largest cannabis company in the world. They do about 1.3 billion a year. I stayed on as the president of Select at Curaleaf. Did that as long as possible, and then waived a non-compete to get back into the space and really batten down the hatches on what I wanted to do next. So I spent about 5 years, investing in companies, made 27 different investments, and realized I really love building brands and I really love operating. So I've been at this for about 2.5 years now. I've spent about $2 million just in formulation and taste and function. I started this because my mom was basically, going through dementia and Alzheimer's, and so is, I think, a lot of people's parents these days. Your parents as well.
My grandparents,
and sugar brain is killing us. And thank God we have RFK in office now, right? He's giving new motivation and inspiration to life. But sugar brain is killing us, so I wanted to make something that me and my mom could get along with. 3 grams of sugar's from agave, monk fruit, antidepressant, anti-anxiety beverage. It's a functional, high-functioning hemp seltzer. So I know you asked what I do, but this is what I do now. Yeah. So I just want to kind of bring it all together.
So we have these products on the table for people that are watching on YouTube and other platforms visually. They can actually see that right now on this table, there's 4 packs of different drinks, there's different flavors. Talk us through why did you dive into this category?
Absolutely. So the functional space, and by the way, this brand is called Adaptaphoria. For all you watching at home, Adaptaphoria, helping you adapt to a new euphoric state. We have two functions. We have unwind and we have energize. And these are 2 different functions that you just need at night. One time you get home from a tough day at work, crack it, you need to unwind, right? You want to go back out and be socializing. We've actually trademarked the modern socializer. We've trademarked hang out without the hangover. So if you're a modern socializer and you're not drinking anymore, which the alcohol category is just getting decimated right now. If you look at Gen Z is drinking 1/10 of the amount of alcohol that any other generation has drank in history. That's a big swing.
Wild, yeah.
It's a $30 billion swing in that category.
Wild.
And you're seeing even a larger swing than that. Look at Anheuser-Busch. Look what's happening in that industry. You're seeing that people are tired of sugar. They're tired of sugar brain, and they're tired of being tricked and lied to. And they were lied to with dextrose, sucralose, high fructose corn syrup, Zygum. There's a million different trade names for sugar. And I think we've all just had enough. And I think Gen Z is really kind of bringing it home there, that they say, I don't want to be hungover. I don't want to be dehydrated. I want to be happy. And what touched me a lot was, you look at I've got 3 kids now. I've got a daughter that's 5. And I was looking around the table going, by college, 20% of all college students are going to be on antidepressants.
Wow.
Like why? Like, college was the most happy, exciting time of my life. Like why is the world so bad now that you have to be on antidepressants at this age, and then you're actually reducing your dopamine receptors? So you're never actually going to be as happy as you were prior to these antidepressants. So I said, all right, stop it. Our retired life is over. Investing life is over. I got to make a beverage that's going to work. And we did a partnership with the University of Oregon, 10,000 surveys and studies. What is depressing people? What is going on in the world? And depression was number 1. Anxiety was number 2. It's causing trillions of dollars of damage in our economy right now. We're seeing suicide rates at all-time high, divorce rates at all-time high, and addiction and rates at all-time high. So we said, how do we do something about this in a low calorie, 15 calories, 3 grams of sugar? We have ashwagandha, lowers your cortisol levels. We have rhodiola, anti-anxiety, anti-depression. We used all ancient Chinese herbs. We're the first EnviroCan certified beverage on the market, meaning we're OCal certified organic all the way through to the top. Can't say organic because it's still hemp, but we are EnviroCan clean. So I said, all right, how do we do this? How do we impact our community? You've been such a motivation, inspiration for our community and giving back. So we give 2% of our revenue back to mental health and wellness, dealing with addiction, and encouraging and inspiring entrepreneurship. So our first check went to University of Oregon, helping kids that have dealt through their hardships, which we call it your time to adapt moment. What was your time to adapt moment where you had a hardship and you had to overcome it? So we're helping people adapt to the new world. So. Yeah, it's a lot.
So back in my days, I had an energy drink, 43 distributors, 55,000 retail stores. I took it public in 2005, so exactly 20 years ago. And over the course of those 4 years, I don't remember anything but selling drinks. Nothing. I don't remember a date. I don't remember a birthday. Nothing. I drove around to every distributor. I did what's called ride-alongs, where I would literally get in the semi-truck with the drivers on a Budweiser truck.
That's how you do it.
And I would go store to store and I'd pitch them. While they're putting Budweiser in the cooler, I'm pitching them buy my energy drink. You were up against thousands of brands. How do you stand out in the beverage category?
Great question. I mean, shipping liquid is quite a challenge.
Heavy.
So yeah, it's heavy. And luckily I've, capital is obviously very important, right? We have incredible investors. I've capitalized a lot of this myself. But you're right, you have to go out door to door, store to store. And Select, I went to 1,700 doors. But the difference is I was bringing a box, 1 foot by 1 foot, and that was $20,000. Now I'm shipping 4 pallets and it's $20,000.
Right.
There's a big difference, right? So that is quite difficult. But, I'm just so inspired by running out of options to drink. Olipop and Poppy, I love, right? Those came out of nowhere. I became instant fans. And then I'm like, I'm a cannabis person. I love flower. And, I've got 3 kids now. I can't smoke in the house. I can't smoke, anywhere around them. And I want to be social. So how do we do that? And how do we have fun, at home with the kids, with the family, with your parents at Thanksgiving? So really what we're doing is we're kind of creating these moments and these moments of family, these moments of togetherness. And that's really where we're marketing. So we're doing everything from affiliate marketing where you can come in. My goal is to make 1,000 millionaires in this company.
Wow.
I made several millionaires in the last, but I want to make 1,000 millionaires. And the only way to do that is to teach people how to make money, as you do in this podcast, and encourage and inspire entrepreneurs. So we do, a referral program, which not only gives a discount on shipping, but it also gives 15% referral income to someone. So let's say you just got laid off. Oh man, time to adapt, right? Let's not stress. Let's not go hit the bottle. Let's adapt and let's come out with a clear image of what we want to do and where we want to go in the future. So we teach people how to become an influencer, right? How to influence and talk to your peer groups about it, and how to say, hey, I had a great experience on this product. All of our beverages are 5 milligrams. I want everyone to have a great experience their first time, no matter what. I never want someone to be crossfaded or too high or too stoned. Or my goal is great experience, customer experience every single time. And if you can do that, you can win customers. So where I say I set myself apart in the other beverages, not only the target of the high functional seltzer market that we're going after, but also where we offer a unique product experience. We've won Best THC Drink in 2025 by Tidewater. Go ask ChatGPT, go ask Llama about Adaptaphoria, and it'll tell you it's the best THC drink out there. And that's because we're targeting this by anxiety, depression, give back, and just how to make people happy. And I think that's really where we find our unique area. And our method is the Monster method, which is liquid to lips. Let people try it and then they buy it. So we are sampling. We've got some big announcements with one of the largest alcohol retailers in Florida coming. We've got one of the biggest announcements with, I probably could announce it, DoorDash. That's going to be very, very large and very broad. And then we have some other unique opportunities with some big boxers coming up that we're looking forward to. So we're looking at specific ways to get to the customer. We really love direct to consumer, but we also are ready to distribute when that time comes. So if you just go straight to the shelf, this has got to talk off the shelf. It's got to literally stand off the shelf and buy it. And it's such a mouthful talking about all the nutraceutical grade ancient Chinese herbs in here, and all the functions that I really need to talk to people to sell the beverage. So I think that DTC is your best option for that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So with your previous brand, you were also up against thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of brands that a lot of them came and went. Mm-hmm. But you built one of the only ones to actually go exit and have this huge impact and still out there, obviously, big in the market. Talk us through that experience, like going out there and fighting the good fight. Also, at the same time, dealing with legislation, dealing with rules. What you're not allowed to spend money on marketing. You can't pay for commercials or meta. Like, how did you scale that brand to be that big?
I mean, it was a lot of work. One, quality product and consistency always wins, and compliance wins. So what we've done with this product, for instance, is we've ensured that when all the cards fall, this still remains under the USDA Farm Bill 2018 Act, saying it's only 10 milligrams maximum per 12-ounce can to be 0.03%, 0.3% by dry weight. And no one else is doing that. Everyone's doing 50 milligrams, 100 milligrams, right? They're doing that with edibles too. So our job has always been compliance. I was on regulatory advisory commission setting pesticide regulations and standards. So Select set a standard that set itself apart from everyone else. That's the same thing we're doing here. The second was the right people. You have to have the right people involved in your business. I was lucky enough to partner with one of the greatest entrepreneurs in Oregon. I was also honored to partner with people like, Rich Paula, who's a good friend of ours, who's an incredible master network, Jake Alsop, and so many others that were great, Sam Knapp. And, these guys helped us expand this brand so rapidly. And now what we're seeing is, you also need to be capitalized, right? And we have some incredible investors behind us. We just did a very, very small friends and family round. So we've taken in just over 3 million, 3.5 billion. And we are looking at, now that we've generated about just under $500,000 in revenue in just under 4 months, that now we'd be looking at a roughly 10x round in Q1. So, I think that, being capitalized is absolutely critical to your success and to stay alive. Mm-hmm. So, I think as long as you're maintaining the, appropriate products, quality standards, you're showing sales growth, you're not being greedy, and you're growing in a company that investors are happy to be a part of, you're going to be successful.
So, as a business starts to make more and more revenue, especially in beverages, that means you actually need way more capital.
Yep.
I'm going to give you guys a quick story.
Mm-hmm.
So my energy drink, it was called Who's Your Daddy? I had that slogan back in the days. And on year 2, we're just crushing it. We're in all these distributors. We got a bunch more Budweiser distributors to help us. And we get finally the phone call that we wanted was Costco. And the way we got into Costco was I would send 4 packs of drinks to the security guards and the secretaries. Never to the buyers, never to the executives, never to the staff. Security guards and secretaries, why? Because everyone interacts and sees them. You walk in, you walk out. What do you say bye to? Security guards
Smart.
Or secretaries? And so we finally got the phone call, and the guy was like, I know what you did. he knew. I was sending them over and over and over. But they liked it. It was cranberry pineapple, and it was green tea. And we had the 0 sugar, 0 calories, and 0 carbs. So 41 stores was $2.4 million for an opening order. First, we did 1 store, obviously.
Sure, you got to test it. Got to make sure you sell through. Yeah.
But then the first actual order, $2.4 million. Okay? Sounds cool. Let me give you guys an example. Let's say that they order on January 1st. Okay? Let's say you get a phone call from Costco. It's January 1st. I want $2.4 million.
You're giving me PTSD right now, but keep going.
To make $2.4 million, you got to put up around $1 million to manufacture. Let's call it anywhere from 30 to 50% is your cost to manufacture it, then factor in shipping, etc. So let's say you need $1 million for that 2.4. That's January 1st. They want you to ship it usually 60 to 90 days later. So let's call it March 1st or April 1st. They then pay you net 30 or net 60 after delivery. So now you're at May 1st or June 1st to get paid. But wait, what if your drink's really good?
Time to adapt.
Right? What if your drink tastes like Adapt? What if your drink's really good and you sell through? That's what happened for us. They reordered 5.5 million.
Oh no!
I didn't get paid for the first one.
No.
Yeah, like woo, but no. And so I had to scramble, call everyone, figure out 5.5 million order. I needed almost $2.5 million to make it and ship it, plus merchandising fees, marketing fees, displays. They wanted like different displays outside the stores.
Yep.
POP, which is point of purchase display, like all these things. So let's call it $2.5 million. I didn't get paid on the first one yet. So I scrambled around to get the 2.5 million. We got it. Hold on. And then they're like, okay, we're ready for all-store buy.
Oh no. I mean, yay. I mean, no. This is what makes the CFO cringe, by the way.
And we couldn't do it. We literally, they were too big. We had to turn down all store buy. And for them, like, okay, well, we're going to call Red Bull Monster Rockstar just like normal. And that's what they'll do. And so why is that important to you? You either have to be capitalized in advance. You have to do what's called factoring. Factoring is where you'll pay sometimes 2% per month. And a factor is someone who will say, I'll buy your paper, I'll buy your order, your invoice from Costco. So let's say the order was 5.5 million. They'll pay you 5.1 million, for example, on the 5.5. So you're taking a haircut, you're losing out on money, but you're getting the money up front. Or they're staggering the payments depending. But then they're taking the risk that Costco's gonna pay. Well, Costco's what's called a paper, right? They know they're gonna pay, it's Costco. So they know they're gonna pay.
Problem is, you're at 10 to 12% interest already
Yes.
by the time they pay.
5 months at 2% is 10%. Uh-oh. That can get very expensive when your margins are only 20 to 40% depending on your shipping, et cetera. So I want you guys to think about this. When you're making a brand, a product, or a service, think about the capital you need when things go well. People always talk about things when they're screwing up or sucking. What happens when things go right? As you scale, things can break. So you gotta have capital for that. All right, let's talk about the investing side. You had this exit, and you mentioned 27 different investments. You get bombarded by offers. Real estate, stock market, cash flowing businesses, your friends opening a restaurant, a nightclub, a membership club, a golf course, your friends doing a high-rise, a building. There's Bitcoin, there's Ethereum, there's so many things you could be investing into. How do you decide with all those different variables what to put your money into?
I mean, it was quite difficult, especially as a cannabis entrepreneur. I wasn't allowed in UBS yet. I wasn't allowed a financial advisor. So that left me as my own financial advisor for quite some time there. And I created $2.2 billion in value from my living room and, made hundreds of millions of dollars, lost hundreds of millions of dollars as well. So, it's part about being an entrepreneur. You have to learn the playbook and learn how that works. Okay, so, I mean...
When you get bombarded by deals, how do you pick what you'd like to invest into?
It's got to be something you're passionate about, and it's got to be something that you are driven by, or that you have done enough research in that market that you know that there's going to be an overall sector growth in. And I really, doubled down on cannabis. I'd done brands for like Jay-Z, Post Malone, Birdman, Jim Belushi, Rohan Marley, Marley Naturals. We do Ricky Williams. I've done a lot of these celebrities brands, and we kind of got bombarded by a lot of that, and wanted to look at it. And celebrity brands aren't a bad thing. It's just in cannabis you can't really market and advertise. So to have that megaphone was a good thing. So I did several investments in those spaces, and then I did several investments in crypto. I think as crypto is going to be something's going to be around for a while, and I've been very successful in that. But it was difficult. It was just I had to do some things that I was very interested in, and honestly, you should invest in something you're knowledgeable in. So I invested in several things I was not knowledgeable in, and those have turned out to be complete horror stories. So I think knowledge, passion, and analytics.
Why do you think it's important for people to invest into themselves? To either study, read, go to courses, hire mentors, coaches. Like, why do you think people should invest into their minds, into their bodies?
That's number one. You got to invest in yourself, and that's how you invest in wealth. If you're not investing in yourself weekly, you have 8 hours, right, for work, you have 8 hours for sleep, you have 8 hours to do something. And, again, hopefully it's not doom scrolling. I've heard people say this, but I'm watching my kids do that as well. So you have to really make time. I'm taking, Wharton leadership, executive leadership courses right now during my free time. And as an entrepreneur startup where I'm focused on not only looking at my investments, but I'm also focused on operationally running this as CEO and founder and going store to store still, you almost think that there's no time in a day. And it's not possible. It's not possible for new opportunities, but there is. And it's really about time allocation. Learn where your time goes. Investing in yourself is investing in wealth, and put yourself first. You got to put yourself first and your education first, and everything else will come. So sacrifice, do the time, and it all pays off. Yeah.
So as people are growing their businesses, they're going to get pitched a lot of different things. This is going to be sometimes an awkward or hard question for people. How do you say no to deals?
I mean, it depends. Are you an investment fund? Are you a family office? Because it could go with your thesis.
Just a person.
Just a person. How do you say no? It's not the right time. It's not the right sector for me. It's not the right business for me. I think that's probably the best way to say no. But saying no is quite important.
Yeah.
It really has to be something that you've done the research on and you've done your diligence on, and the investor class has to be significant, and you have to know leverage and understand where your point of leverage is. Understand if you can add value and create a creative value to this business, or if you're just going to be a blank check or
dumb money.
Dumb money, yeah. So I never want to be dumb money. I always want to be, value add and creative value. So I always try to loop in some sort of advisory role as well and help guide and steer the company. So, yeah.
So you mentioned some really big names with the Jay-Z's and Post Malones. Talk about investing into talent. Like, why have a face, a celebrity like a Ricky Williams? Like, why invest into talent rather than just scale a generic brand?
So, Jay-Z is a big name, right? And I've lost $9 million with Jay-Z. But Jim Belushi is a much smaller name than Jay-Z. And Jim Belushi got the #1 cannabis product in the state of Oregon.
Come on.
Jim Belushi, yeah. You know why? Because he cares. He cares about people. He hustles. He goes to the stores. He plays his harmonica, takes pictures with every bud tender. When he leaves, people are so electric with his brand and what he's done that they want more. And that's what I love. Ricky Williams the same way. We have Ricky Williams here at Goldflower in Florida. And, Ricky Williams draws an enormous crowd. Rohan Marley draws an enormous crowd, right? And we can't advertise in Florida. So there's no way to advertise or even talk about it. So I can just tell you that the partners of that brand, of Goldflower, of one of our companies, are these two celebrities. And they can put it out on their Instagram, but they can't market it. So it's very unique. And state by state is different. There's different rules and regulations. You have a different set of rules in every single state. And the hemp beverage is one of the first that it's a little bit more even playing field, but there's still subtleties. Like Oregon, you can have a 5 milligram can, but it's got to be 2 servings of 2.5 milligrams each. Guess what? I made one run of 5 milligram, one serving. So now I can't, actively, go after that market without stickering every can. Georgia needed a special sticker on the back that's only Georgia related, right? So, there's all these different little nuances that you have to be ready to adapt. And that's why we own timetoadapt.com, right? When things get hard, when life throws you a curveball, how you change and how you accept that change is going to be what's going to make you succeed or fail in life. So we say time to adapt. And that actually brings me to my point of we want your biggest time to adapt moment, where I'm actually doing a $10,000 giveaway to whoever has the best time to adapt moment. And what that means is, just lost my job. Oh, time to adapt, right? Instead of hitting the bottle, I took a different option. Or, I just lost my girlfriend to OnlyFans. Time to adapt. Mine was, my car, my wife was driving a car and it had a suicide door on it. And she's taking the kids to school and she drove out with the door open and just chicken winged it. Instead of getting mad or upset.
No.
Yeah, it's a nice, very nice car. And instead of getting mad or upset, I just made it into a time to adapt moment, which I'll be posting later this week, announcing the competition. And, it was funny and we made a good play out of it. So I'm going to do a $10,000 giveaway to whoever gets the most likes, most shares by April 14th of 2026. So we're going to launch that campaign. And I think that could be something cool for people to just remember when times are hard and something goes down, just remember your time to adapt moment. When life throws you a curveball, how are you going to overcome it? Time to adapt.
So a lot of products can get onto a shelf and they might sell once, but they don't get reordered because of taste or quality or something about them. Why is it important to invest into quality, like you mentioned, spending almost $2 million on the quality of the product?
Taste is everything. At the end of the day, there's a massive shift going on in our community with health and wellness, and we're all seeing that, right? And we've had, if you look at Coke's got 39 grams of sugar, right, and 12 ounces, right, and 150 calories. We're 15 calories, right, and 3 grams of sugar, and it's all nutraceutical grade, ingredients, and forms. What I'm basically seeing out there is if you can overcome the taste of cannabis, you're going to win, because everyone out in this market is making a weed soda pop. I call it a weed soda. You're taking soda water, you're adding simple syrup, or they're taking soda, they're adding a juice concentrate, and then there are no other functions, And we're, not only rapid onset, which I think one of the biggest things that we've really achieved, coming from my background is Select Oil. I owned 30% of the global oil supply at one point. We did oil for every major brand. I gave Wild their first oil, right? I gave Marley Naturals their first oil in Oregon. So I've been, in the oil market for so long that I've learned nano emulsions, micro emulsions, and different onset times. And what we've created here is a 5-minute onset, which is so unique because I've always said a cannabis beverage will never work until I can cheer someone drinking a beer, and then we can drink it and we can both feel the effects together. So we can feel the effects together, but typically you get a bitterness that runs down the middle of your tongue and that lingers in the back of your throat. And that's just something that if you want to be a mass market brand, you can't taste the cannabis.
Right.
And that's why we were one of the first companies to put distillate in edibles, and that started making our edibles go off the shelf because it didn't taste like cannabis. And I know there's a lot of people that, I want to taste the indica, the sativa, the hybrid. That's not the mass market. The mass market is, how do we create something socially acceptable? How do we create something that my mom can drink that's a 65-year-old Southern Baptist who believes it was the devil's lettuce, and now she's going, oh my gosh, I like this. This makes me feel good. It's better than vodka or something. Right. And how do we make something that every generation basically thinks tastes good? And that's really what we've done here. Is we've absolutely nailed the taste. I'd love to get your reaction on it too. Love for you to try one.
Of course. So on the charity side, why do you think it's important for a household, for you as the father, to have some type of charity involvement for those kids to see, whether not about the money part, but actually be a part of something? Why do you think it's important for kids to see charity?
It's critical to building their character and who they are as a person. You've been so inspiring with that is, we give back, to motivate and encourage and inspire because so many people now are at their all-time lows. And just like what you do with the world's largest toy drive, right? You bring so many smiles to people's faces. You're the real Santa Claus. You're like, they don't, Santa Claus isn't real, but you are the real Santa Claus. The amount of joy that you bring through, how many toys do you guys do?
Oh my God, hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands of toys during Christmas. Like there's so many kids out there, and you know the numbers that aren't getting those toys, that aren't feeling gratified during these times. And that's what it's about, is making people happy, leaving the world a better place than where we came. And I think that's what's so unique with RFK. He says you judge a civilization based on how they treat their weakest among the population, and that's really what we're doing. Is we're helping anxiety, we're helping mental health. This is great for war veterans and people with PTSD, and that's why we gave the 2% give back component. So my kids can be there with me as we're giving a check, to encourage and inspire entrepreneurship and help drive through addiction and mental health. So I've been through mental health challenges myself. Sold the company and thought I was on top of the world and, had unlimited money. And, it's never been more lonely in my life than being at the very top. Lost friends, lost resource, lost a lot of things. And to help kind of heal from that by also helping others is tremendous for me, for my family, and I think for the entire entrepreneurial community. So I'd like to see more of that and like people to follow your lead, Dan.
So someone out there listening, there's been this kind of weird feeling about billionaires and people being wealthy this last few years, in particular in the media. And it's frustrating because the amount of people that Amazon employs. So when people look at Jeff Bezos, like, I can't believe he has a $400 million yacht. That's nothing financially for Jeff Bezos. But then they look at him and they think, he's too wealthy, too rich. Well, he employs millions of people. That's almost a form of charity to me. When you're employing people, and you're giving them 60 grand a year, 80 grand a year, 200 grand a year, et cetera, times that by millions, he's literally changing the entire global economy from the inside out. And so I say that because there's this weird connotation that billionaire is a bad word. So you had this exit for nearly $1 billion, 1.27 Canadian billion, and you said you got lonely or quiet or some of your friends went away. What do you think that is when someone hears that, that's like, well, I make 60 grand a year, screw that. I want that problem. Talk about the reality of like what happens in life.
Look, it's lonely at the top. The loneliest job in the world is the CEO position, as you know, right? You're everyone's best friend though when they get the paycheck. You're everyone's enemy when times are tough and there's budget cuts and crisis. And then the only person you can really have a conversation with or depend on is yourself a lot of times, or your wife, and that can make it very difficult.
You don't even want to tell her.
Yeah, and sometimes you don't want to tell her because you don't want to stress her out because she's raising the 3 kids.
Right.
So you're right. I use Michael Phelps as a perfect example of this. The most awarded Olympian in history.
Legend,
right? Dealt with massive mental health crises.
Right.
Used cannabis, cannabis products instead of alcohol. And Lauke got arrested in trouble with alcohol. And Phelps stayed home, ate his 7,000 calories, and then pumped out American Olympic gold medal championships. He's an inspiration to me. Apollo Ono is an inspiration, a good friend, and I'm trying to get him on board with this. And it's once you get to that top, it's it's amazing. You're celebrated. Your picture's on all these magazines, and now you're the person paying for every single bill. You're the person that's always being mooched on. You're the person that's always the enemy if something goes wrong in the company.
Yeah.
And then if you're a really good company, you're under lawsuits. You're going to get sued.
For sure.
And it's just for people that want quick handouts and easy money. And it's very difficult, gets very lonely. So you got to have a good routine of getting sunlight, working out, talking to people. When COVID, people lost. I mean, I sold my company in February 2020.
Wow.
Yeah. So imagine
oh my
now
God.
I'm locked up with all this money. It's like, what do we do? I got into poker, which is a really bad idea. Don't get into poker after you sell your company. Phil Hellmuth, right. And
he joined the advisory board of one of my companies.
Oh, did he? He was great at poker. He put me in the Dragon's Den poker game, and I lost a lot of money very rapidly. It was interesting people. Draymond Green, all these guys. I'm just getting smoked. I think that people lost their community, they lost their safety net, they lost their community when COVID took place because everyone was locked down. People still haven't really rebuilt that. The socializing and the marketing and the networking has gone down a lot. I mean, you're a master. It's different for you. You're still probably pumping the same numbers as you were, but there's a lot of people that fell out of those relationships and got lonely and depressed. And why we say this for the modern socializers, because we want to create happy hours that are non-alcoholic happy hours. So modern socializer hours, where people are coming, they're ordering Adaptaphoria at their favorite restaurant or Maison Mirat right here in Brickell in Miami, and you can sit with other entrepreneurs. We do an entrepreneur meetup at Maison Mirat once a month, and we sit and we talk, and we have speakers come in, we have pro athletes come in, and we just find a new way to socialize, with a different product than just alcohol. But you can drink alcohol too. Nothing against it. Love alcohol. Love my champagne. Love my tequila. But I just find myself drinking this at the end of the night. Two unwinds at the end of the night make me sleep like a baby. I sleep better than I've ever slept. And then an Energizer too before I go out is lovely. So I try to have my balance. If I do a couple tequilas, then it's like, Dan, it's 12 o'clock. What are you doing? Do you want to go out? So I've got to learn how to balance myself.
For sure. All right. So there's only one question I ask at the end of every episode, and I've never gotten the same answer in over 200 episodes. You've already sold one company for $1 billion. You're going to sell this one for $2 billion, for example. And you're probably going to do more companies because you got the itch, right? You love the game. So billions and billions of dollars of revenue generated and exits, et cetera. At the end of the day, when you pass away, what percentage of your net worth do you leave to those 3 kids?
It's a great question. But one thing that you should be clear on as an entrepreneur, like you were saying, to raise money, I only ended up with 8% of my company when I sold it, right?
Yep.
And then less than that after taxes. So it sounds like you sold it for all this money, and then you own stock at the company, and the stock does well or does not well when you leave. There's a lot of variance.
Yep.
But, for your kids, that is the most critical thing is how are you leaving that next generation? How's that next generation going to bring up? And, I've already planned all this out, luckily. And it's, their college is funded. They're never going to have to worry about a home. They're never going to have to worry about college. Never going to have to worry about healthcare. Those are already done and set forever. Now it's again, they're, I drive my kids to be entrepreneurial. So my daughter has to work to make money to buy an iPhone or app on her tablet, or she has to donate some toys, and then other toys that she just got bored with quick, she has to sell and then buy a new toy and capitalize.
I love it.
So we do our donation, but we also are teaching and instilling commerce into our kids. So I've set a fund together where they can invest money into businesses that they believe in, and then they can live off the income of those companies. But they do not get a check.
Very
They
cool.
can get a check for their home to get that, but then they owe the trust money. So they have to work. Yeah, they have to work.
Told you guys weren't going to get the same answer. This is great.
They have to be entrepreneurial. They have to work, and they nothing is given. They have to earn it. But I think healthcare is given, and I think education should be given. So
Very cool.
Those two I'm on. Yeah.
All right. So where can people find you on social media? Where can they find the brands, the products? Tell us everything.
Timetoadapt.com. Time to adapt or adaptaphoria.com. And I would go even, you were so nice. If you do time to adapt /Money Mondays, we pay for your shipping. So we just want to do that for Dan and take care of it. So timetoadapt.com /Money Mondays. We'll pay for your shipping. And you can find me at Cameron Forni _. And, you'll see some stuff from the University of Oregon. We're the first beverage on the history of the planet, hemp beverage on a university campus. And that was with the University of Oregon last weekend. So we were in the Dean's Invitational Suite on college campus. The Dean said he'd rather have kids drinking, college students drinking our beverage than he would alcohol. And as you know, you can't sell, I don't sell this to under 21, can't sell alcohol to under 21. But alcohol is just, run amok kind of on college campuses.
For sure.
So this is a very unique trial with the University of Oregon Ducks, who, is my alma mater. I'm on the 40 under 40 advisory there. And I think it's very unique, and we'll be doing some stuff with the Rolling Stone Culture Council on this as well. So
that's so cool.
Time to adapt.com/Money Mondays, and Money Mondays and Money Monday, well, both. And at CameronForni.com.
All right, guys. As I mentioned, these podcasts are not just for you. It's for people from your past, present, and future. Your friends might bring up they want to be in the beverage space, and you forward this podcast with Cameron. They might bring up, I want to do something in the cannabis space. You could forward this podcast with Cameron. There's people that are going to be around you. It could be a dinner, a lunch, playing basketball or pickleball, and things like this come up. You share podcasts like this with them, and the butterfly effect can literally change their life. They might hear things, because we got pretty granular here, from factoring and financing and marketing and the shelf space and dealing with celebrities. Like, these things could literally help save them a lot of money or make them a lot of money. So keep these podcasts in mind. Visit us next Monday at themoneymondays.com, and we'll see you guys very soon. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Money Mondays podcast, where we cover 3 core topics: how to make money, how to invest money, how to give some of it away to charity. Here's what's really important. When you're listening to podcasts like this, it's not always just about you. It could be for people from your past, present, or future. You might be able to forward an episode like this to someone that likes this topic or likes this person that's on that episode. So keep that in mind as you're listening, because not every time you're going to be caring about real estate or stock market or e-commerce or Facebook ads. Maybe it's not applying to you, but it could be to someone from your past, present, or future. The whole point of this podcast is we grew up thinking that it's rude to talk about money. I think that's ridiculous. We got to be able to talk about taxes and salary, and should I rent, should I buy, should I lease? What happens if my friend borrowed $400? How do I get it back? Like, these are things that happen in your real life. We just don't talk about it because we think about it being rude. It is not rude to be able to cover your mom's medical benefits. It is not rude to be able to buy toys for your kids. It's not rude to be able to cover your travel and things that go on in your daily life, because it's part of your daily life. So make sure to understand this with your friends, family, and followers. We have to be able to talk about money. That's part of why this podcast has stayed in the top 50 in the world. It's because of you liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing, and talking with your friends about money. So without further ado, as you guys know, these podcasts are under 40 minutes because the average workout is 45 minutes. The average commute to work is 45 minutes. This episode will be between 32 and 38 minutes for your listening pleasure. So, Dan Dasilva, if you can, give us a quick 2-minute bio so we can get straight to the money.
Perfect. Okay. So my name is Dan Silva. I dropped out of high school, but it's kind of cliche to say these days, I guess. I started online when I was 15, like literally I was learning at 15. 19, made my first $1 million. And since then, just kind of like rode the wave. I started off buying traffic as an affiliate. And then I went into the e-com space. I kind of had that leg up because I already knew like how to buy traffic. So, dropshipping was this new thing. So I kind of just went into dropshipping, was the first one on YouTube to talk about it. Had like major success in both realms, doing and teaching. And then from there, just kind of everything just kind of grew from there, yeah.
What's the main thing you're working on now?
So I started my own FinPub, so financial publishing company, a few years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. It was a ride. I'm winding it down now, more so because of compliance, more than anything. It is just a headache for that industry. So my main thing is winding that down and just heading back into affiliate like hardcore, just focusing all my attention on affiliate launching and publishing, but not necessarily in finance anymore.
So, fun fact, back in the days, I had an online poker site. And I'd go to the gaming convention, there'd be thousands and thousands and thousands of people there that own poker sites. And the richest people in the room were the affiliates.
Yeah.
Because they were sending all the traffic to these poker sites, but they're getting like $200 CPA, $300 CPA, which is cost per acquisition. And so they were sending traffic to Poker Stars and Full Tilt and me, my Victory Poker site. And we're paying them $200 or $300 a player before we ever got $1. And so it was fun to see at these events where you'd see the 21-year-old, the 28-year-old, zillionaires, because they were sending traffic to these gambling sites. So
there's certain affiliates, I mean, even now, you get percentage of losses and all that, like, those under the table type of deals where I know some guys over in Asia.
Oh, like on sports betting sites?
Oh, yeah. I mean, just
yeah.
in general, like those online casinos where they not only get a CPA, they get a percentage of first depot, and then they also get a percentage of losses in perpetuity. And they're raking in cash like crazy. So
So you've got a zillion offers that you could go through, right? You can pick from anything you want, from financial markets, stock trading, teaching people how to sell custom sneakers. You can teach people about anything. And so you could showcase for your traffic any of these topics, Section 8. There's just so many, there's infinite options. How the heck do you decide what you pick from? Is it just the financial part of it? Is there a marketing part of it? Is it something that is exciting for you, or is it just a part of the game?
Quite frankly, that's a good question. It's a lot of, it's a very small community of people that are super affiliates, if you will.
Right.
And everybody talks there. So you know exactly what is working at that time.
Right.
So it's essentially just kind of like, hey, I heard X, Y, and Z is doing X, Y, and Z.
Right.
And then I'll go to said person and they'll be like, yeah, 100%. And like, one of my good friends, Carter, he's a huge affiliate. And I ask him all the time, like on things that are working. He's like, yeah, this was working. We were doing like $400,000 a day for X amount of weeks. And then I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, but we kind of like, we moved on because of, processing issues, whatever it is. I'm like, okay, so like what's hot right now?
Yeah,
exactly.
right.
And then he's like, oh, well, we're on to this. I'm like, oh, well, I don't want to do this. So then I have to start shopping around because there's some things that I don't want to touch.
Sure.
And other things, because it's not in my circle of competence.
Right.
But, I typically will go ahead and always focus on vanity driven or aside from vanity, health. So, and again, health, you got to kind of figure out your line of ethics and morals.
Certain type of weight loss versus
exactly.
Other,
So, and more than anything, it's the affiliate's job is to get somebody to the page, to the VSL, to the order form, whatever it is. But if it doesn't convert, it's move on to the next offer.
What is a VSL?
Visual sales letter. So it's just a 45, 60-minute plus video selling. It's an emotional story that really pulls strings, that sells a supplement at the very end that's supposed to do X, Y, and Z, based on whatever that story is. But they sell very, very well, very, very well.
So people will watch 45 to 60 minutes?
Oh yeah, they'll sit there for a really long time. It's funny because it was really, really, really good at a certain point, probably like 2019, 2020. Even up till now as well, you can get away with it. You could run just the VSL alone on YouTube, like run it as a YouTube ad. And then when they click, they go to the order form. So it's not even like they have to go to another page and then go to the order form. Because if you think about it, people on YouTube are already accustomed to watching long form videos. Sure. So you just put like a 45-minute video. They don't know how long it is because it's an ad, right? So
so there's no timer.
No, because of how long it is.
Right.
So they'll sit there and they'll watch it and then they'll click. And from there, you can do the same thing with Facebook. So there was, I think Peter Kell did this. Actually, I know Peter Kell did this. He ran VSLs on Facebook so successfully. Yep. And by the time I heard about it, I never even thought to do that. I was like, oh, it makes so much sense. Everyone was doing it at that point. It still works, but it's really about finding that VSLs are like the thing right now. Like everybody's hyper focusing on that. So,
all right. So let's talk about the make money side.
Okay.
You can make your own products.
You can.
You could be an affiliate. You could try to work for another company. You could consult. You could take equity. How do you decide on a personal level, you've got all the options because you've got so much experience and you're one of the best in the game. How do you decide what you actually spend your time on?
I'm going to be totally honest with you. I am extremely lazy, and I think it's because of I'm complacent. So I know if I want something, how much it is, and I'll work that exactly. So that's a gift and a curse, if you will. Because it doesn't push me further than what I want. So and that's why things now, I sold all my cars and all that, because I stopped caring necessarily. The only thing I really like is watches. That's my thing. But the make money aspect, to answer your question, is I really don't know how to define that. Ask me one more time so I can process it.
So when you have all these options where you could be a consultant, you could be an affiliate, you could create your own product or brand or service, how do you decide what you spend your time on?
What I know will pay me the most for the energy in. So energy in and the output that I get. So I already know what I'm really good at, and that's mainly more than anything copy. funnels is relatively easy and whatnot. It's essentially getting somebody to read something and get them to take an action that they didn't otherwise think they wanted to do, or you want them to do. So, and whatever that is, there's two realms that I play in. It's more so than anything biz op, so MMO, like make money online, and in the health space. So those are like the two that I absolutely know the pain points. Like right away, I could just spin something up, and that's what I'll lean towards. But consulting, I don't do it. I don't like. It's just I don't think that. I know my time is worth a lot, but I just don't want to give up my time. I'd rather be playing video games or doing something else, like just enjoying life. So,
did that come from complacency from money?
Yeah,
you think?
Yeah. It came from the fact that I had nothing really growing up, and then 18 to 19, literally it was from nothing to exactly. Yeah. So my first car was an i8 that I bought in cash. Mm-hmm. The insurance was $3,500 a month. Okay, right. We laugh at it now.
Wow.
But at 19, I just turned 19. I thought $3,500 a month for insurance was normal. Yeah. Okay. And everyone was like, what? And I thought a 6-month insurance, whatever it is, like
premium.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because they wanted it all up front.
Yeah, they're like, here's $21,000, yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
Sure.
So I just spent like $140,000 for an i8 that came from Idaho, exactly the specs that I wanted. And then I dropped, 20-something thousand on insurance only for 6 months. And everyone was like, what? But what do I know?
Right.
Because that was my first car.
Right.
Like I didn't have anything to correlate it to. So then, the following year, with Tanner J. Fox, all that stuff, I got rid of the i8, bought a Lambo cash. 2 weeks later, bought a G-Wagon cash. And I was just like, again, this is the whole, like, money just kept coming.
Right.
And so it came to a point where the money didn't stop. I know that 19-year-old me versus almost 30 in a few months me, I realized that I was just everybody's piggy bank that they could just shake at any given time. Mm-hmm. And that was like one of the hardest pills to swallow. And so I got rid of everything. Like I left New York, like all that. I just told people I'm broke. Mm-hmm. Just because I want to see who'd stick around. Like, I have nothing anymore. So I just put my dogs in a car, went to Canada, went to Rice Lake or Lake Rice, whatever it's called. And I just kind of like
faded away.
Exactly. Just I needed peace. I needed to get away. And funny enough, nobody was there. And that's when I was like, interesting. And so just over that time, I kind of just like realigned and I stopped caring about the money, which then also, because I said the drive was always money.
Sure.
And, I'd had talks with like Jimmy, from Sound Lane and whatnot. And I'm like, Jimmy, like, I want to build. So he's like, I want to build something. And he's like, you don't need to know right now what you want to build. Like, it'll come to you eventually.
Yeah, they'll know. Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's what I've been kind of like waiting for, I guess. But yeah, it's just, I realized everybody works so hard for money, but at the end of the day, it's like
to buy stuff that they don't actually care about.
Not only that, but to impress people that don't
care about them.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. They're just there for the good time. And you can't blame those people either.
Sure. So
like everybody inherently is for themselves, if you will. So that's just human nature. So I can't blame, my friends then. So I just look at it as I learned. I was going to do it regardless. So at that time, it is what it is.
So you guys have heard me say this before. It's okay to have that materialistic goal of getting that one watch, getting that one car, getting that one thing. But when you buy your second and third watch and your second and third car, you're going to have that feeling that Dan just described. Like, you're not going to care about the Lamborghini and the G-Wagon and this car, that car. At some point, it fades away, sometimes within weeks. And some friends of ours go buy 5, 10, 20, 30 cars looking for that feeling, and then it starts to go within days because they've already had 10, 15, 20 different cars. And so I'm not saying to not have a goal, because by the way, the goal can be really, really useful for you to have that driving force, like Dan described in his own life. But at some point, it will literally feel meaningless. It'll just be another car in the garage catching dust, It would just be another watch sitting in the drawer that you don't wear because you wear your main watch every single day. The other 7 watches just kind of sit there. At some point, you start to realize like the things that you're buying don't have any actual meaning, and they don't give you what you want, which is happiness. You think you want it. You're like, well, as soon as I get to $1 million, I'm going to be happy. When you get to $1 million, you're like, wait, it's just Wednesday. As soon as I get to 2.5 million,
it's the hedonic treadmill.
Yep. And the goal line keeps moving, and the goal line keeps moving, and the thing that you're chasing is never actually there. It's an enigma. It's not real. And so I say this because I want you to have that goal of the thing that you want, that you're aspirational for, whether it's taking that big travel trip, maybe it's buying that fancy watch. But I pinky swear that second, third, and fourth thing will not even 1 iota matter to you a few weeks later. All right, so you're making money, you're buying the cars, you're having fun. You take this time, you go disappear for a little bit. But then you come back to one of the most coolest cities on the planet, which is Miami.
Yeah.
Why do you reemerge?
Well, I was moving around for a bit. Like, went to Tampa, back home just to see parents, Toronto, and then back to Miami. Why choose Miami? Here's the thing: I don't party anymore. Like, I don't like to go out and club. I'll go get dinners. Like, That's it. Why Miami? I can't answer that. I don't know. To be honest, I came here with an intention to network. And then I realized the people that I wanted to network with weren't the people that I wanted to be around. And now I'm here.
Sure.
So I guess that really answers. To be totally honest, I was supposed to go this upcoming year. Supposed to head to Nashville, but yeah, plans change. Plans change a little bit.
So as you're making money, people start to bombard you with investments. Hey, bro, invest into my restaurant or my nightclub or my clothing line or my new thing, my new hat company, blah, 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 blah. How do you decide, once you start making that type of cash, what you might throw in 25K, 50K, 100K, or whatever amount into as an investment?
I look at the person more than anything. The person and then the idea, because everybody has ideas, right? It's the person behind the idea that can execute to the finish line. So again, there's no necessarily unique idea, but there are extremely unique people. Mm-hmm. That's where I will decide whether or not I put my energy, time, resources, and capital behind you. So that's the end all be all. It's who are you? Right. And like I want to know not necessarily what you have accomplished, because maybe this is your first time trying to build something or whatever it is, but who are you as a person? And if you have done something in the past, what have you done? And I'm not talking like college or anything. I'm talking way more beyond like, hey, I built this, I just couldn't get it off the ground. Right. And that's fine, because people that are builders aren't necessarily marketers. So
someone out there is listening and they're like, man, I want to sell a course, or I want to sell something like a VSL. Like, how do I do that? Where can people research to try to figure out how to actually do this stuff?
That's such a good question. Honestly, I wouldn't even know how to answer that, because it is a very particular skill set. It's writing copy for a video that you have to either hire an actor for, or now we can use AI to do it. Sure. But the skill set is copywriting. So VSL broken down is just long form. It's just a long form piece of paper or a document that sells something, whatever it is. And if somebody really wants to go ahead and learn how to do it, you just simply flat out have to find VSLs out there, and they're everywhere. Like if you go on CNN, you click on these ads, and then there's like a video of some doctor talking for like an eternity. You could download that video, have it transcribed, read it, and see exactly what's happening there. See what they're doing, the pain points, the NLP, the language. So that's the differentiating factor between somebody successful selling something as an affiliate and not, is if you know how to sell it, right? So because we all have the same ability to look at the same product and sell it the same way. But the difference between me and you is that I might know how to find an angle from the current page, from the current video, and how to just kind of take that out and sell that part. While everyone else is just selling what's in the video, I sell something that he says in the video, and I just harp on that point and make it a bigger deal so people watch. So
what about investing into themselves? Why do you think people should invest into their minds, their personal brand, into their world?
the cliche answers, because like there's no other better investment. It's cliche to say there's no other better investment than you, no higher ROI, but it's true. So what I figured out a long time ago is by accident, I think. I don't like networking. I'm not really like a big networker. People have and do come to me because of my skill set. Sure. So I see kids all the time, people all the time going to networking events. Like, networking does not equate to necessarily in the long term. Sure, it can equate to a lot of money if you start networking a lot and know what you're doing. But at the end of the day, I rather focus on a skill, like a skill set. And Becker thinks the same way, because I've talked to Becker about this as well, is that all I ever did was focus on my skill set, which was copy, et cetera, right? And where that copy was deployed could have been e-commerce, drop shipping, or a VSL, an affiliate promo, whatever it is, right? But I just focused on that. That is my skill. The funnels, the launches, and deploying copy into that. That's something that people have come to and still come to me for. On, hey, what do you think about this and that? Just like I'll go to somebody like Jason, like Jay Flatt, right, about webinar stuff.
Of course.
So it's the same thing. He's the best at what he does. People have to go to him. So it's not like he's out there at events and whatnot saying, hey, I know how to do webinars.
Right.
Like, well, we know you know how to do webinars. So I kind of adopted that philosophy, really. So.
Is there a goal? Like, if you got to a certain number, you're like, you know what? I'm done. I'm going to retire. I'm going to give up the e-commerce, and I'm going to give up being an affiliate. Like, if someone had said, hey, you know what? Here's $80 million. That's it. You can't work anymore ever again.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That sounds, there's no purpose. I need to do something. I need to be stimulated. Like, all right, maybe like, is there a cap on this?
There's some number, sure.
So, I mean, it'd have to be a wild number, like something. If I'd say it, you'd be like, okay, be realistic.
Right.
But like, the constant stimulation of needing to figure out new things and needing to build and wanting to build, and that's the
game.
That's the thrill. So there's really no number.
On a personal perspective, is there anything that you like in the charity space, philanthropy?
Yeah. I'm looking to build an animal sanctuary.
Really?
Yeah. So it's actually a reason that I came here. So, but I've said this already for like 2 years to my parents and whatnot. It was either here or in Nashville, and I was Nashville area, somewhere in Tennessee, right? Because land is fairly affordable.
Yeah.
So, and then I have to work with compliance, like regulatory, but an animal sanctuary is my thing. I love animals, so.
So I built an animal sanctuary 37 months ago.
Did you really?
Yeah, that's where I came. That's where I came from this morning.
Oh,
so I just flew from. So we have 206 animals in Temecula, California. It's 26 acres.
Oh, so your ranch is actually like a sanctuary.
Yes.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
I thought you just loved animals. Yeah. I guess a personal sanctuary then. So
yeah, we're not open to the public. You can't. There's no website. You can't buy tickets. Obviously, our friends everyone can go and feed the animals. But so the real Tarzan, obviously, is getting. He did 2.2 billion views last month alone on social. But he lives there. He lives at the ranch.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's how it evolved. At first, I was buying it because I had like a checklist of things to build on a ranch to be able to host masterminds and events and my Operation Black Site, the military training stuff. And I wanted some animals. And then I was going to do one with Tarzan here in Miami. And then COVID happened. The shutdown happened. And so we scrapped the idea for a while because we're like, well, I don't know if we can have tourism at the ranch, at the animal sanctuary. And then like a year later, I found this ranch in California. I'm like, wow. And so when I messaged him, I had the keys. I waited till it was for sure that I had it. And I was like, hey, you're moving to California.
That's awesome.
We're going to set up all these animals here. And then it just kind of evolved because he started getting everything from 16-foot snakes. So we rescued these 2 bulls from the FBI. The FBI was going to kill these 2 bulls. We rescued 900-pound pigs. We rescued horses. We rescued so many things. And, it's expensive, obviously, to take care of 206 animals. It's $140,000 a month from staff and food and things to keep them alive and happy. But it's my favorite thing to do, and it's my favorite thing to talk about. I could talk about it for ages, and like the difference of like when you're interacting with the animals versus humans is fascinating.
We can get into this. We'll get real emotional real quick. But I agree. It's just it's unconditional love. Like so now I'm talking like dogs and whatnot, but even big cats, like. You know what I found fascinating? I got really ingrained and infatuated with this story of a golden retriever mother raising 4 or 5 tiger cubs, and then they became full-grown tigers. And you know, the golden retriever, that mother, was still a mother to them. Like they could maul her, but they respected her and I was just like, that's still. It's just so amazing. Like, and there's one thing that I can't stand is like no animal should be put down because of some other human's mistakes or faults
bad
or
decisions. Yes.
So exactly, it's just not fair. And then to me, it's just like it's so unfair. I just don't. It doesn't sit right with me. So that's been the end goal of it all.
So there's one question I ask on every single episode, and I've never gotten the same answer ever before. Before I ask it, I'm going to ask you, do you have children or do you ever want to have children?
I do want children. Okay.
So the one question I ask on every episode is, Dan, over the course of time, you're going to build up tens of millions, hundreds of millions, God willing, billions of dollars in your career from the brands, products, services that you create. But unfortunately, at some point, you do pass away. What percentage of that net worth do you leave to your children?
Great question.
I've heard 0%, 100%, everything in between.
You would have to be vested. If not, then it would be donated. But I wouldn't leave all 100%. Probably 80% be donated to philanthropy, 20% would be left. But that 20% would have to be vested based on what they achieve and how many, children, right? So
giving them milestones of things to do throughout the course of their life.
Marriage, at least 5 years. To have probably like 60% of whatever's allocated to be unlocked, if you will. Sure. At least, bare minimum.
Bonuses for children?
No, I would, because again, not everybody's blessed to be able to.
Yeah.
So, I could imagine like just having an infertile wife and then like your money's locked because you can't get. That'd be terrible. Definitely something to do with marriage, building a family, building something sustainable.
Care if they go to college?
No. I don't. I want them to do something, though. Yeah. And when I say do something, I mean follow what they want to do, but not – it has to be progressive in the world, if that makes sense. Like, it has to help in some way. Like, I don't want you to be – I don't know if it's bad to say, but like kind of like a hippie, if you will, just like free roaming around doing ayahuasca in like Colombia. Like, like I need you to be proactive and be a part of something or start building something and whatnot. But yeah, it's such a good question. I would say,
You broke it down. That was good. So a lot of people can't even say with clarity like the 80-20 concept you just mentioned or having parameters. Some people say very detailed of like the concept of what they want, but they can't say numbers. Or they say the number, but they don't know why. Like it's been very interesting. I've asked the same question 200 times, literally 200 times. And I'm always fascinated because it some little pieces of it evolve how I think about it, right? How I want to do it, how I want to structure over the course of time. And so I'm always fascinated to hear it because no one's going to have the same answer.
Yeah.
And no one ever just says like, yeah, 100% or yeah, 0%. There's a reason behind it because it's such a big decision.
Right.
Because part of our legacy, it's part of our, when we have children. And the other reasoning is like, some people think it spoils the child. Some people think it's, changes it steals from them like their skills and their grit and things that come with it. And most people that I know and most people that I interviewed didn't come from money. It's very rare, I
just think about it like the tension it could create. Like if I have 4 kids, and again, if we go with the vesting idea, what if one of them can't find leverage, just isn't has a hard time, like then it creates animosity for the others. So it's a really hard decision to
how to structure it.
Exactly. So because not everyone's created the same, and you shouldn't have to punish somebody because of something that they lack. So it's a hard question.
Are there any products, brand, services that you have going on?
Not to the public. I don't really sell anything to the public. Just exist.
Just exist.
Yeah.
Okay. Where can people find you on social? What are the things? Anything?
At Dasilva on Instagram, and some random YouTube channel I'll create again. So not my old one, just a new one. I'll be around.
You'll be around.
You guys see me.
All right, guys. I appreciate you listening here. Again, it's really important. When you like, comment, subscribe, it obviously helps us share this message. Keeping us in the top 50 in the world is because of you guys. When you hear certain things and some of the things, the messages that pop up, just keep in mind, share it with your friend. Talk to them about it. They might be wanting to get it and become an affiliate, and you could send them this video, and all of a sudden, you might change the course of their life. They might go from making $4,000 a month at their job to $4,000 a day because you sent them something, learning from him about being an affiliate. So when you hear things from these episodes, just keep it in mind that by sharing and communicating and talking about money and talking about business, talking about salaries, talking about being an affiliate or talking about building a course or creator program, etc., having those discussions with your friends could literally change the course of their life by having open discussions. So I appreciate you guys. We'll see you next Monday here at themoneymondays.com.